So what is the difference between strategy and tactics, and how can understanding this help you create better music? In this video, we're going to talk about that. Let's go. Hi, my name is Pete and welcome to Studio Live today, where my goal is to help you create, record and release your best music through tips and tricks and tutorials, and occasionally a little bit of a different kind of video, a bit like this one, because today we're talking strategy versus tactics. And what I wanted to ask right up front is, do you have a strategy or a tactical approach when it comes to creating your music? Drop your comments down below if you do, but if you don't, or if you don't even know what I'm talking about, don't worry, because we're going to cover it in complete detail in this video. So let's dive into that right now. Now, like almost everything in life, there's a heap of subjectivity when it comes to things like goals and purpose and strategy and tactics. But what I wanted to do is break down the way that I look at it, and maybe there might be some ideas in this that can help you with your creation. Now, if you've been in the business or the corporate world, you've probably heard about strategy or strategic direction or having a purpose statement, and you've probably also heard about a tactical approach. So what tactics are we going to use to actually achieve our strategy? So let's start by breaking down the difference between strategy and tactics as I see it to help define this statement. Let's start with strategy. A strategy defines the overall goal or purpose of what you are trying to achieve. So whether it's as a corporation, an organization, or you yourself, you can have a strategy, and it's often quite closely linked to your purpose or your goal statement. So if you're a musician, your strategy may be, I want to record albums. I want to release music. I want to get my albums out there to the world. Or it could be, I want to have a strategy to get as many fans as possible of my music, and you might even put a goal around it. You might even say 20,000 fans in the next 3 years is what I want for my music. Now, they're both examples of strategies, but without a tactical approach as well, how are you actually going to go about achieving it? So that's where the strategy turns into tactics that we need to employ to actually achieve those goals. So the tactics that we would use to achieve a strategy like record and release an album would be the actual things that we have to do to get to that end state. So if you are wanting to release an album, what do you have to do? You have to write a bunch of songs. You have to record those songs. You have to get a distribution service so that you can actually distribute. You need to do your mixing, your mastering, your album artwork, and your promotion of your music. So there's a lot of individual tactical things that you have to actually get done before you can achieve your goal, your purpose, or your strategy of having your music out there in the world. So to get things done and to get your work out there, to get it shipped, you need to have both in play. What happens if you have one or the other? Well, if you've got a strategy, so you may have been in this place before, I know I sure as heck have, which is where you're like, I really want to create lots of music. Like, that's a good strategy to have, isn't it? My goal is to get my music out there, or to play music live, or whatever it happens to be. If you don't have the tactics in place, you're going to get frustrated because you're not actually moving forward. You've got this nice, big, chunky strategy here. You're not doing the little things that are actually leading into it. On the flip side, what happens if you've got a whole bunch of tactical things? So you're doing the things, but you don't have an overall strategy. Well, what you might end up with in that songwriting or that album releasing example is a bunch of songs or parts of songs that you're actually creating. You feel like you're busy. Ever had that feeling? You're spinning your wheels, you're doing all this busy work, but without that strategy in place, you don't know what the end goal is. You don't know what you're trying to achieve at the end. So having your strategy in place and then building your tactics around that strategy is a really successful way to actually achieve your goals. So the big question you may have is, Pete, do you practice what you preach? And I certainly try to. So especially over the last 3 to 5 years, as I've been creating video content for Studio Live today, and as I've been writing, recording, creating, releasing my own music, what I've found is that when I have a clear strategy and then I actually implement tactics, I get a lot more done. So I'm going to give you 2 examples here. The first one is around music. So when I got back into music production composition and actually writing songs, recording music, I wanted to make sure that I actually did something with it. I didn't just noodle away and not have anything to show. So I had a goal, and it was to release an EP, and I set myself a date and said that is the date that this EP is going to be available in iTunes and Spotify and Apple Music and all the other places. So I knew that I needed to work backwards from there and put the tactics in place to get this done. So what does an EP have? Well, it has 4 or 5 songs. So I needed to be able to write 4 or 5 songs. I needed to be able to record them, mix them, master them. I needed to have a distribution company set up so that I could actually distribute it. I needed album artwork, and then I needed to actually upload it. I needed to do the physical doing 3 days before to make sure that on that date, on the 1st of April, that album or that EP was ready to be available. So that is what I did. My strategy or my goal or my purpose, whatever you want to call it, was release an EP by this date so that I can get my music out there in the world. What I then had to do is work backwards by about 2 months to work out here's the chunks of time I need, and here's the milestones along the way, and here's the actual things I need to do to get it done and to reach that album state at the end. And the challenge that I see a lot of people have is that they've got things that they want to do, but unless you actually have clearly stated goals at the front and you are actually planning out your tactical approach, it can be really hard to actually achieve. You'll find you get frustrated, and again, you're spinning your wheels. You're doing a lot of doing. You've got this busy work going on, but it's not leading to an ultimate goal. So that worked for me in my music creation, but I've got another example that I want to give you now as well. And this is something that if you've watched many of my videos here, you'll be very aware of. You may not realize it, but you already know my strategy and my tactical approach for Studio Live today. So my strategy is what I say at the start of every video, which is that I want to help you create, record, and release your best music. And the reason that I say that at the start of every video is not just that it's a nice little catchphrase to throw out there, but it reminds me that that is my goal, that is my purpose, that is my strategy, and it makes me put a lens on every video that I create, which is this providing content that is actually going to help people create, record, and release their best music? So if you go back through the 700, I think, plus videos that I have here on the channel, in every single one of those, there's going to be something in there that's going to help you. Now, you might say, Pete, sometimes you just release your own music here. Yeah, but if you go down in the description, I'll put in there a behind the song section. So for anyone that's just listening to the music, they can go, hey, that's Pete's music. If you want to dive a bit deeper, I'm going to have some tips and some ideas and some information about how I recorded and wrote and released that song. So that's how I sort of tap into that. So that's the strategy side. What about the tactical side? So I could have a strategy of help you create, record, and release your best music, and I could set up a website, and I could set up a YouTube channel, and then just sit back and go, but what is the actual doing? What am I actually doing to help you with that? Well, that's where the tactical approach comes in, and this one is going to be familiar as well. And it is this. It is this video that I'm releasing today, because my tactical approach is to release at least one video every day. So Studio Live today, what I realized is about 18 months ago, I'm like, yeah, I'm making a video or 2 videos every week. If I really want to live by this whole helping people create, record, and release their best music, surely some sort of daily tip or daily tutorial or daily motivation is going to actually help folks out. And being able to not only build up my library of content and have lots of information available to help people, but have that level of consistency. It's the one thing that I can do and that I can consistently do every day that is actually going to help the maximum amount of people. So on a macro level, this can help the you, and the you in this case is all of the viewers of Studio Live today. So my strategy is help you create, record, and release your best music. My tactical approach is also very simple, which is release one video related to that strategy every day. And the reason that I mentioned this example is I wanted to show you how simple it can be. And in fact, if you make it too complicated, it is going to be much harder to succeed. So if you've ever thought of the word priority, you know why it's called priority? It actually comes from, and I'm going to get it wrong, but the word derivation, let's say it's Greek, it's probably not, it means one. So it is the priority. What is the priority? What we've done in recent times is we've flipped that around and we say, what are your top 5 priorities? Well, you can't have a top 5 priority because by its very definition, it means it is the most important thing. And the most important thing for me is to stop the buses driving past. But if you have a priority, then it is going to help you. And the less you have to think about, the more likely you are to succeed. If I had 5 different priorities, I had to release a video every day, I had to do a blog post every day, I had to release 4 Instagram posts every day. If I had all of those, what I would find is I wouldn't be able to achieve any one of them really well. And I don't know about you, but I'd rather do one thing exceptionally well than everything kind of okay and not actually feel like I'm achieving anything. Doesn't mean I can't do other things, but it just means that I can focus in on that one thing. So my advice on strategy, purpose, goals, and tactical approach is to keep it simple. And once you are successful with that simple approach, so you've got your one strategic goal, you've got your one tactical approach, of course you can add in more. And in fact, here on the channel, I've just added in a second tactical approach, which is on the micro level. So I realized at the macro level, I was putting out content, I was helping folks, and everyone can view those videos that I put out every day. But when folks were actually contacting me directly, I was doing my best to get back to them quickly, but I realized that at times I was dropping the ball. So if someone emailed me, or if someone messaged me on social media, I wasn't able to get back to them. And what I've realized is that that is actually a priority. If I want to live by my helping you create, record, and release your best music, then whoever you are, if you've taken the time out of your day to contact me directly, then I need to take time out to contact you back. Even if it's a, hey, thanks for your email, high five, then at least it's acknowledging that people are doing that. So I've been pretty good in my comments in the past, but what I'm actually improving on now is things like Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and email, and getting back to people. And I've got a goal now, and you can call me on this, and yes, I'm waiting for my inbox to fill up now, but within 24 hours, I want to respond to anyone who actually contacts me. The thing with this is I'm not going to get it right or perfect every time. Life is going to get in the way. And I wanted to end on that point because it doesn't matter how well you plan things out. It doesn't matter how good your execution is. You are not always going to succeed 100% of the time. And I've talked about it before, but that's actually a really good thing. It means that you are setting yourself goals at a high enough level that sometimes you will fail. The key thing is to learn from those failures, to find out what went wrong, to change the way that you're doing it for next time, and you'll continue to grow and develop. This is a marathon, not a sprint. In everything we do here, in video creation, in music creation, in all of this, you need to take it one day at a time. Don't beat yourself up. Don't listen to that inner critic that's saying you can't do things. Set yourself lofty goals, try to achieve them, but then if you don't actually get there, remember that it's a learning experience and you can try again next time. So I hope you found this useful, motivational, or somewhere in between. Let's quickly recap. Your strategy is what you want to achieve, your big picture goals. What is your purpose? What are you trying to do? Your tactics are the things that you need to get done that will lead you to that goal, that will tie in with your strategy. Without one or the other, you can find you're spinning your wheels and you're very busy, but you're not actually getting things done. And finally, keep it simple. Make sure that you're focusing in on just one or two things. Remember, priority means one thing. As soon as you've got multiple priorities, you're going to struggle to actually get them all done. Thanks again for watching. There's 2 more videos you can check out, linked down below. As usual, you can click or tap on the Studio Live Today icon if you'd like to subscribe and keep up to date with all the videos, and I will see you on the next one.